I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not gonna do what you all think I'm gonna do, which is just flip out!
I'm fine. I'm okay. It's been a hell of a weekend, and I'm glad that you guys are here to join us. But I'm okay. I'm fine, really. All of you that have reached out, those of you that have even reached out to my wife privately and been like, is Ryan okay? Is he okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Things are good. How are you, Kelly?
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I should pull my mic in.
Yeah, probably. Apparently not that ready.
I was clearly not. Okay, here we go. How am I?
Yeah.
I am fine.
Yeah.
I am fine. I'm so sorry about the Packers.
Why?
It's just,
Why should you be sorry about somebody that intentionally kicks themselves in the nuts over and over and over again?
One, I don't particularly care for the Bears, as we all know. I always root for their downfall.
Demise.
I was hoping, that's a better word.
Yeah.
I was hoping that the Packers would actually feed Ben Johnson his own nuts because I don't like him. I don't like his mouth. I don't like his character. I don't like anything about him. And all this post-game chatter that I'm reading about Ryan, I'm not a big fan, but I'm sorry that the Packers aren't there. But as I told you prior to pushing play, now is my time. Because everybody that's been dogging me about the Chiefs and, oh, you guys didn't make the playoffs and, oh, they're not very good, da-da-da. I now have an official comeback that's pretty universal with everybody who's talking smack to me. The difference between the team that I follow and the team that you follow, we get a better draft pick. And that's where I'm at with that. But I'm fine outside of that. But, yeah, I felt bad for the Packers. The way that started, I'm like, this is exactly what I needed to have happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
right here.
I think you and all of Packer Nation and everybody that maybe just doesn't like Ben Johnson or the Bears or Caleb Williams, I think all felt that way. But obviously, this is why you have to play all four quarters, and this is the same type of stuff that we've talked about for a couple of years now on the show when it pertains to playoff football. Is you have to keep your head in it, man, and it's these little things. You have to take care of the little things every single time that you have the ball. Otherwise, you're going to get exploited. You cannot quit. And in a lot of ways, I feel like the Packers were just playing not to lose, which is just kind of their MO for the last couple of years, where they get up and then all of a sudden you're just kind of you're wondering what's going on, play call wise, attitude wise, things like that. So it raises a lot of questions, which we'll get into later in the show. But yeah,
was it 21-3?
It was 21-3.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's going into
what
half.
I thought I saw, and I'm like, in the playoffs. Yeah. Regular season, you see some wonky stuff like that. Generally in the playoffs, you don't see that much of it. Yeah. I'm like, this is nail in the coffin, foot on the throat. This is exactly what we need to see.
Not what they did. But the reason I bring that up at the top of the show is just obviously due to the private text that I got, but also like the change in who I am. And I mentioned this via text. 10 years ago, this would have absolutely ruined me. I would have been so pissed off, so distraught over how you're up 21-3, how you lose that game, yada, yada, yada. It would have been one of those things. That would have stuck with me for weeks. And then you add on top of it that it's the Bears, division rival, and everything else mixed in there. put a little perspective on life. You get a little bit older, you start to care about things that are more important rather than a squad of, a 53-man roster of people that has no idea who you are.
Right.
You can't really let it dictate your feelings. So after about hour 4, post game, I think I was all right. It was one of those things where you just move on. It is what it is. It's frustrating for sure, but at the end of the day, it's funny where you're at in life and how you let those things affect you versus what they did. Because I was telling you guys in the text, I think 2020 officially broke me in my emotions for high intensity losses when they lost in the NFC Championship game in Lambeau to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I felt something in me just die.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting how how you perceive some of these things. And I've noticed that with some of my friends too, where it's they've got families and you start to look at other things and you don't invest as much emotionally in this because you've only got so much emotion to go around,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You and I have had that conversation where you kind of feel the same way, where there were maybe some Chiefs losses 15 years ago that maybe frustrated you more than recent years, even though they've had some very good successes in recent years.
Yeah, no, I died when Kansas City actually started to make a run. They were 13-3 in the regular season. They had Trent Green, Priest Holmes, Tony Gonzalez, and a bunch of other guys. 13-3 regular season, first round bye. Playoffs go through Arrowhead, and here comes Peyton Manning, Indianapolis Colts, and beat them. 37-34, 34-31, whatever the hell it was.
One-score game.
Yeah, we're 13-3. I'm listening to Tony Gonzalez has never won a playoff game as a Chief, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, this is it, finally. Finally, we are turning the effing corner. And they lose. And I had been driving around town with a Chiefs flag hanging out the back of my truck. I was amped up. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And I simply died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I've dealt with 15 years of this. Why can't I deal with 5 more until they actually make a turnaround?
Right.
But that's when it turned for me. I think I was newly married, maybe didn't have child yet. If I had child, she was very, very little. But that's when it happened for me.
Yeah.
But anymore, it's whatever. And yes, the Chiefs have had a nice run of success. They have. They've been to some Super Bowls, whatever. But even this year, it's I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. It's the highs are still high, but the lows just don't hit me as much anymore.
No.
Where it's whatever, this is part of the game. It's incredible. And I think what this basically states, you look at who's remaining in the playoffs now, because now the Eagles are gone. So you don't get a repeat of the Eagles or the Chiefs from the 2 previous Super Bowl winners.
Yep.
So now somebody gets to claim a brand new title, right? There's
New
a couple
winner.
in there that have already won. McVay has won one. I think, is there another? Is he the only one currently that
Did you
has
say
a Super Bowl?
McMay?
McVay?
Oh, McVay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have mispronounced it. I don't know. I meant to say McVay.
Jaguars.
Yeah, Jaguars.
Jungle Cat.
Yes. Meow. They put up a hell of a fight against the Bills.
They did.
Yeah.
And, again, shitburger steaming on a plate in front of me. I get to eat that one too. The only team in the AFC I trusted, yeah. And down they go. So now, the KUW or the KUR, Kelly's unwritten rule, is kind of taking shape. Now it's kind of I got to back the Broncos because I don't want Josh Allen to get near an AFC championship or a Super Bowl. I don't want that for him. I don't want that for Buffalo. I don't want that for Bills Mafia. I don't want that for anything.
It's curious. Are you just tired because of the media perception of Josh Allen?
Yes, I am.
Is that kind of where it comes from?
Yes. Yeah.
He's a hard guy not to like as a person.
I don't find that. I can't share
as
that.
a person, he's a fine young gentleman.
Yeah, I can't share that with you. I can't. It's been great beating his ass in the playoffs the last X number of years. It's been wonderful.
But that's the thing that I get frustrated with in regards to Josh Allen and the narrative, especially around Chiefs fans and maybe some other fandom where they're like, look, he can't beat Patrick Mahomes and all this other stuff. Recent memory, he has counterpunched every time Patrick has responded to him via a game. Most of those games end up going, all right, Patrick scores, then Josh Allen comes down and scores, and then leaves just enough time for Patrick to do something amazing, right?
Yep.
So it's not really Allen. It's the lack of defense when it comes to trying to beat, and that's kind of what gets lost in all these things where it's oh, it's this quarterback versus this quarterback, and you're like,
It's really not.
It's not. It's that defense versus that quarterback. They don't play against one another. And obviously, you know, like I said, you have to, if one responds, then you go out there and respond yourself. And my argument would be, I think Josh Allen has answered those calls more often than not. Definitely more often than maybe Lamar Jackson has in those situations.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And I think if you go back and look at the timeline of things that's happened in the playoffs between the Chiefs and the Bills, they've had their opportunities, but it always seems like the Chiefs have the ball last and they can't stop them.
Right.
For the most part.
I say the same thing about Josh Allen, and I don't hate on him nearly as much as I do Lamar because I think Josh actually is a quarterback, not just a running back. But I say the same thing about him that I have about Lamar. Start talking and start elevating him and elevating everything around him when you win an AFC championship. Sure. Like, get to the Super Bowl. Don't care if you win it. Just get there, because I'm done with all the talking and all the stuff makes me laugh when it's like, oh, this is Josh Allen's year because he doesn't have Burrow, he doesn't have Mahomes, he doesn't have Jackson, he doesn't have any of these other good quarterbacks. Yeah, well, it's not the same thing you said. It's quarterback versus, it's never quarterback versus quarterback. That's not how that works out. Yeah. It doesn't ever work out like that, but it makes me chuckle every time I see it because they always make it this big head-to-head thing. They did it with Brady and Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Yeah. And it's like, Yep. See, Brady's by far the GOAT. He's by far the most superior quarterback. It's never that case, and I just don't want any success for Josh Allen.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
I want him to shit the bed in Mile High this weekend. I do. Yeah.
Even though Mahomes isn't in it, and you know, there's no Burrow and there's no Lamar. None of those teams are in it. There's still a gauntlet ahead of him as far as we're talking with defensive teams.
Defense, big time.
I mean, if you watch, and I'm not saying, you know, oh, the Steelers are some sort of like offensive juggernaut. But if you've watched the Texans over the course of this year, they started out 0-3 and have made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And they don't really disguise anything. They just tell you, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to play you straight up and you have to stop it. And they just have guys that go out there and get it done. Very talented on that side of the ball. And you go and look at the offensive stats for the Texans. I mean, they scored 30 points last night, but 2 of those were defensive touchdowns.
Correct, and they turned the ball over offensively 4 freaking times. Yeah. They were handing Pittsburgh the game.
And still
they were handing it to them. And Pittsburgh was like, no, I don't know what to do with my hands. I can't take that
and still beat them by 24.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's phenomenal that Aaron Rodgers' last NFL pass is a pick six.
Was a touchdown.
On Monday night. Love that for Aaron. Yeah. Love it for me. Love it for everybody who's with me that's not on board with Aaron Rodgers.
That was kind of the final kick in the shorts for me, you know, because
that was
I'm
wonderful. Sorry that it was a kick in the shorts for you. I loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
I replayed it. I rewound it again. Yeah, I replayed that several times.
I put my Rodgers jersey on last night just to kind of give a little juju, see if I could get something going. I'm like, if this is the last time, hey, you know, what a ride it was, right? You know? Yeah. I mean, one of the best throwers of the football of all time. Personality-wise, probably not the best. You know, I've got my quarrels with him and the things that he said. Outside of this year, he's been very quiet. Just kind of shuts up and does his job. Whatever, man. Like, I think that's the version of Rodgers that most of us have wanted for the last, 10 years, where it's just like, hey, just shut up, defend your guys, go play ball. So can't really fault him for anything that he said this year for the most part. I thought it was interesting that what could be his very last post-game press conference, he basically dropped an F-bomb and walked out of there because he was so annoyed with the questions.
Was it the stuff about Tomlin?
Well, yeah, they just keep asking him about Tomlin and pestering him with it and all this other stuff. And I think the final one was something to the effect of like, how do you feel about Tomlin and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I've made it abundantly clear how I feel about Tomlin. You guys asked me this questions. I've already stated it. And it's effing ridiculous or something like that, and he got up and walked away.
Well, they didn't believe him the first 20 times that he answered the question. Did you see the camera on the guy that was wearing the Packers Rodgers jersey in the stands?
Uh-huh.
I think they pulled the camera away too soon because it was late. Rodgers was already out of the game now. He's got the stocking cap back on.
Yeah.
And they panned this dude wearing the official Packers Rodgers jersey. I am quite confident if they'd have kept the camera on him that he was beating the shit out of his kid, who might have been making like he was freaking furious.
No,
I tried to replay it and I couldn't get it stopped in time, but they showed him and he spun his head over like you would. Yeah. You'll see this as your kids get older. You'll see that head almost turn on a swivel, like did you just say that? Did you whatever?
Yeah.
What just came out of your mouth?
Sure.
This dude spun so quickly and looked down, and I had to think his kid's there. Might be throwing a shit fit. This guy's going through his own feels, right?
Yeah.
Wearing the original Rodgers jersey and whatever. Yeah. But man, he looked irate. And I don't think it was just about the game.
Sure.
There was clearly something
Culmination
more.
of a lot of
Oh,
things,
yeah,
yeah.
there was something more going on. But
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, put the camera back on that guy for a second.
Yeah.
There might be an arrest made in row 9, seat 27. Like, there might be an official arrest
Yeah.
made. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, not that a kid might have been getting beat. That's not what I felt was awesome.
I think that's the perfect way to describe the Steelers' offensive line last night.
Oh, come on.
For sure.
Come on, Steelers. Seriously. C.J. Stroud, 4 turnovers. They couldn't get out of their own way offensively. And you kept coming on the field offensively time and time and time again and did next to nothing. And listen, we get to sit here and we can challenge play calls all day, right? And we do that. We're good at that. But it's you haven't been running the ball, Pittsburgh. You haven't been running the ball very well at all, unless you're doing kind of some wonky, unseen misdirection type of stuff where you start right, bring it back to the left, whatever. It's not even really a zone read. It's just misdirection type of stuff. But you haven't been running the ball well. When it's 3rd and 8 and you decide to just to do a standard draw, or it's 2nd and 12 because you lost 2 yards on the first running attempt and you come back with just a standard zone read look type of thing, like, what are you doing? Houston's giving you the ball 4 times. And I mean, one could argue they weren't necessarily forced takeaways, right? I mean, Stroud, for the most part.
There was one that he just straight up just couldn't get a handle on.
Yeah, and one got tipped, but the ball kind of got loose, and there was like half-hearted effort to get back on it. But you got the ball 4 times. You got 4 turnovers out of that deal. And you just couldn't get out of your own way offensively at all. And for the first half, announcers kept saying, what a defensive game. I know what the score looks like, but what a defensive game. I was like, this might be the ugliest illustration of offenses in the playoffs in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Defenses are good. No credit taken away from me, the defense. They were playing well. They obviously were showing each other the things that they hadn't seen or they weren't expecting early in the game. But offensively, what a poop show. What a poop show. It just was.
But I mean, it's classic Steelers. So here, let me read you the last 8 or 9 playoff games for the Steelers. Okay,
I'm ready.
You tell me a trend here,
considering they've lost 7 straight.
Other than the fact that they've lost,
and we're going
right?
to get into the Mike Tomlin thing because I would argue that no man in the history of the NFL would ever be allowed to continue coaching with 7 straight playoff losses.
Well, so 5 straight wild card losses, and then I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is like number 9.
Correct.
Roughly. So they haven't. I mean, it's been 9 years since they've won. Since I think 20. What did I say last night? 2017. So that checks out for the most part.
Consecutive.
Yeah.
Playoff losses.
Yeah, I think it's 7, but then there's
0
some that are
7.
thrown in here from a little bit later. But 6-20 to Denver, 30-15 to Baltimore, 33-9 to New England, 21-0 at one point in the second quarter to Jacksonville, 28-0. Which was that huge blowout that they had for with Baker Mayfield and all that stuff, where they had won the division.
Yeah.
Browns come in, and it was like disaster from the beginning. 35-7 to Kansas City, 21-0 to Pittsburgh, 21-0 to Baltimore, and 30-6 last night. So if you look at it, 25, 24, 23, 21, 20 are all wild card playoff losses with. You know, that they came back in that Browns game, but they gave up 48 points, 48-37. Then it was 42-21 against the Chiefs, 31-17 against the Bills, 28-14 against the Ravens, and 30-6 against the Texans.
Yeah.
Those are their last 5 playoff appearances, all losing by double digits.
Now, I guarantee you don't have this in there, but how many of those games were they favored in, and the box should have been checked that this is a not an easy win, because no playoff game is an easy win.
Sure.
But this is a game they should win. How many of those?
Yeah,
I mean, several.
Yeah. I have no idea, but I mean, you would imagine so for the most part. But I mean, it's crazy to think that it's been that long for that historic franchise with what you talk about when it comes to Tomlin and the Steelers and all of this stuff, that the aura that gets put around it. But the truth of the matter is like there hasn't been a ton of success at all.
All jokes aside, why is he still
Super
there?
Bowl loss.
Yeah, all jokes aside. Handsome man, all the other jokes that we make. Why is he still there? You give me a reason why he's still there.
Because the Steelers do it differently. That's
Is there
the only thing
any
I can
coach,
say.
Ryan, is there any coach that could lose 7, and I mean 7 consecutive, 0-7, 7 consecutive playoff appearances, and we've lost all of them? How many coaches in the NFL would survive that?
what's his face from the Lewis from the Bengals for a long period of time. Always wondering why he had a job, but that was just the Bengals being the Bengals, and they fired him and then almost rehired him.
Correct.
So I mean, it doesn't happen very often, right? I mean, it's even to a point where you're looking at some of these other coaches, and like I was talking about last week, like you have to look and see, okay, is the grass greener? What's a better option at this point in time?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
on the flip side, you could hire a lot of coaches that'll lose you 7 straight playoff games, 5 straight wild card appearances.
You're talking about a very proud franchise that actually is tied for the lead in the most Super Bowl victories, most championships, and you've allowed yourself to just be okay with this.
Yeah,
like this is okay. I was doing up this thing. I started doing up this thing because I was going to go on an absolute rant today, and it's not for any particular reason. Just all the numbers, all the stats, all the facts, all the stuff. I was going to go off on an absolute rant about why he would be allowed to remain in that position. Going back through however many head coaching positions and everything else. And it's like, again, proud franchise, a long history of championships. And this has been a long drought of really not being anywhere near successful in the postseason.
Yeah.
And he's still there. Somebody make that one make sense for me.
Like I said, the only way that I could even rationalize it is the fact that the Steelers, they just don't fire coaches.
No.
You can look for the last, 30, 40 years. I think
they don't fire head coaches.
Well, that's what I mean.
But how many offensive coordinators has he been through? How much of the blame has Tomlin actually spun that mirror around and said, this one's on me? You keep bringing in OCs, and the entire fan base is all pissed off about the offensive coordinator, and this guy's an idiot, and da-da-da-da. But nobody ever points a finger at Tomlin. Who hires the offensive coordinators? Who interviews these dudes? Who hires the guys?
Yeah.
Does he ever point the fingers back at himself? I have no idea. I don't watch his press conferences and all that
why
stuff.
do you think we never talk about that? Why is it always, obviously there's always a scapegoat for sure. I mean, you've seen it in like with the Giants.
I've watched it in college football in the program that I follow. I watched James Franklin for years.
Yeah. For
years. Never stand there and say, I'm an asset. I don't know how to manage a game. I don't coach well enough when I need to. He's always making comments about we're a good program, we're just not great, or we're a great program, we're just not elite, and da-da-da. And they've gone through 3 or 4 different offensive coordinators, 3 or 4 different defensive coordinators, special teams coordinators. There's always somebody that's taking the fall, and he never really stood back, and he never really took the accountability and said, this is on me. He started to, I think, late last year or early this year, and all of a sudden, boop, out you go, because you lose to UCLA, you lose to Northwestern, and Penn State's like, yeah, you're done. We're done. We're done with this crap.
Yeah.
So I've seen that. I've seen that side of it, but you're right. Nobody ever talks about it. They've had a handful of offensive coordinators, and we've got the friend of the show. She didn't like Rodgers coming in. She didn't like the OC. She's like, I can't watch a game. I don't trust him. I don't. Da-da. He's just yet another offensive coordinator that they've brought in. But the accountability doesn't seem to be falling where it needs to fall, in my opinion. It doesn't fall where it needs to.
Yeah, it's like this scapegoat thing. I
yes.
think. And then for other coaches, it seems to fall directly on them, too. I mean, if we want to transition back to the conversation about the Packers and LaFleur, and there's been a lot of conversation over the course of the last 3 days about him being on the hot seat, and should you even be allowed back in the building after a loss like this, and all this other stuff, and blah, 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 blah. And again, I refer back to what I said last week. Grass isn't always greener. What are your other options? Because if you let LaFleur go, there's 10 other teams that would like to have him as their head coach. What's the better option for that as well? But one of the knocks that I can put on him, especially in his tenure, is he can't seem to get the defensive coordinator position right with the hire, and the special teams is just it's a tradition unlike any other in Green Bay. You're just supposed to suck at special teams. It's what you're supposed to do. You can't recover onside kicks. You can't cover fake field goals in divisional games. You can't kick field goals. None of it, right? You can't. There's no punt coverage, no kickoff return coverage, whatever it is. So, I mean, Bisaccia, currently the highest paid special teams coach in the entire league for the Packers, and they're consistently ranked in like 25th, something like that. It's just awful. And then Jeff Hafley. I mean, how come nobody's talking about how Jeff Hafley's defense gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter?
Right.
Why are we not having that discussion?
For a same defense that like mid-season ranking, they were ranking in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-season.
Yeah.
They were doing well.
Yeah. And
so
I understand.
Were they overperforming? Were they overachieving? Were they? I mean, what's the answer?
And they lost
to
some
that?
pieces, right? Like there was different injuries that happened
Everybody
throughout the
does.
year. It's something that you go through, and not having Wyatt, not having Parsons, not having a couple other guys there to be able to kind of flesh this thing out a little bit more. But I mean, you dominated the first half of the game, and then gave up. It just looked like you didn't know what you were doing in the second half. And I mean, I could say the same thing for LaFleur as well. I mean, you're up 21-3, and in the second half, Kelly, they ran 31 pass plays compared to 8 run plays. Mm-hmm. And it's like I see this happen all the time.
That's Kyle Shanahan like stuff.
It's like, well, and he's a part of that.
Yeah.
He's a part of that tree. He's a part of that coaching tree that was with Atlanta when they lost that 28-3 Super Bowl game.
Yep.
So it's like ingrained in the DNA. It's like you just get scared of what you're doing. Bad clock management. They're driving down the field on that what could have been a potential game-winning touchdown drive. And they threw a short slant to Dobbs, who caught it for the first down, and they took a timeout with 44 seconds left. You had plenty of time to run up on the ball and spike it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, LaFleur's got to be better about that stuff. You've got to be better about situational management with clock management things, and obviously those are things that you can hope can be fixed. I give him a lot of credit for the transition between going from 2-time MVP Aaron Rodgers and going, all right, we're going to transition away from this and go to Jordan Love, and having that be, maybe seamless isn't the right word, but I mean, you just go straight into it, and you've had 3 playoff appearances with a brand new quarterback and trying to get this guy enough confidence. And Jordan Love wasn't the problem in that game.
Nope.
He threw 4 he actually had an amazing game.
He had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
0 interceptions.
Yeah, he looked great. He looked polished. He hadn't played for 2.5 weeks. There was a couple of decisions that were questionable. Some of that made you scratch your head. You're like, how much money did he get paid to throw that ball away?
Right.
He could have stepped up and ran for the first down, but he didn't. He just threw it away. Like, you can't,
Right.
just different learning things that you have to get through, but you would hope in year 3 you would be able to kind of overcome some of those things. But, some dropped passes here and there, but just questionable play calling in the second half. Kind of took your foot off the gas. You were playing to,
lose.
Yeah, playing to not lose, which is, because I think aggressive LaFleur is a much better version of him than this, like, passive, oh my gosh, like, oh, let's not do anything crazy to lose the game type of thing.
Right.
When he's ultra aggressive, when he is doing the things that were hurting Ben Johnson, he's much better. Because Ben Johnson was uberly aggressive in that second half to his detriment, to the point where they were going for it on 4th down and they weren't getting it.
Right.
And giving the Packers awesome field positioning and all this other stuff, and basically screwing themselves out of 3 points here or a touchdown there or whatever. And I'm like, I was rooting for him to keep doing it. Because I'm like, you're going to Dan Campbell yourself right into the ground.
Yep.
And he damn well did if LaFleur hadn't just gotten his head out of his ass and figured out how to control the second half of the game. Now, I don't want to discredit anything that the Bears did, because they completely manhandled the front line of that game in the second half, unlike anything I've seen from them in a long time.
In the second half.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they did. They found a way to basically out-physical the Packers, especially on the front line with their D-line. They were consistently only rushing 4, putting pressure in Jordan's face, and not being able to do anything that they wanted to do, and kind of getting them out of rhythm and all this other stuff. I have to give Love a lot of credit, and even LaFleur, when they needed a touchdown, they went down and got it, the touchdown to Golden. Obviously they couldn't get the one that they needed at the very end. So I don't want to take anything away from the Bears, but, I mean, I said it in the text. This is the first time I've ever seen the Packers beat the Bears 3 times and have it only count as 1 win.
Correct.
And I can statistically say that because the Bears have 0 leads. They have 0 offensive plays while leading through those 3 games.
Yep. I was in Kansas, ironically. I was in Kansas, and I saw the 21-3, and then I think I saw the Bears score once in the second half, but I'm like, no, this is one of those things where now we just get a healthy dose of Josh Jacobs. We just keep grinding this thing. We let that clock run. We let Ben Johnson mismanage his timeouts and do whatever he's going to do. Let him keep doing these foolish calls on 4th down. Like, it doesn't matter that the Bears scored. The Packers still got a nice firm hold of this, and I turned my phone off, and I'm like, I think I'm going to close my eyes. I think I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
And I got up in the morning, and I looked at the scores, and I'm like, you have got to be effing kidding.
They go brain dead. And it's the
They
same
do.
Thing, it's the same thing that I talked about, in last week's episode, the episode before that. I'm just like, I don't understand what goes on. And obviously, like, it you have to credit the Bears in some facet. And Caleb's going out there, and he's, listen, there was a play that he made on 4th and 8, where he's rolling out to his left. He's got a guy wrapped around his ankles, and he just throws the ball down the field, left side, and it just drops right in the bucket.
Yeah.
And it's one of those throws where you're like, There's 2 other guys in the entire world that can make that throw.
Yeah.
But then he'll do this stuff. He'll do this stuff where it'll be a simple out route. It'll be 5 yards and up or whatever. Post route.
Yep.
Wide open.
Yep.
He'll miss him by 10 yards.
I would give you 4 examples of that versus the one that you talk about. Right.
But it's maddening. It's like he can't make the simple throw when there's no pressure.
Right.
And then there's a ton of pressure, and it seems to be insurmountable for anybody else in the league.
Yep.
And he'll put it on the money.
And that's why everybody loves him. That's why everybody thinks he's the next thing.
And it's hard for me to wrap my brain around it because it's like my eyes are seeing one thing for a majority of the time, and then this other part comes in, and it's like, and then you have all of this other aura stuff that he wants to do where he's got the cheese grater after the game and all this other stuff. And I totally get it. I'm fine with the rivalry stuff. I'm fine with what Ben Johnson said in the locker room after I've had time to think about it. Initially, I was like, wow, that was super unprofessional. I can't believe a coach did that. And then I thought about the fact that Aaron Rodgers once scored a touchdown and basically yelled at the entire crowd, I bleeping own you.
Yeah, that's a player, however.
Yeah.
That's not a coach. That's
So,
not, yep.
I think it makes the rivalry that much better. I think it makes football better. If you look at the 3 games that the Bears and Packers played this year, you could argue that those were 3 of the best 10 games that have been played the entire year.
Sure.
For the most part.
All won by the Packers in some way, shape, or form.
If not for the idiocy that goes along with not
Correct.
being able to play correctly, right?
Yep.
So, I have a lot of feelings about it. It is what it is at this point. They just have to learn how to close out these games, because I could name the Browns game, the Carolina game, almost the 3 Bears games, if you really think about it. Because you had a bad read by Caleb in the very first game in Lambeau that ended to a game-sealing interception. Mm-hmm. And then the other 2 are basically just gigantic implosions by Green Bay.
Implosion. Best word possible. Absolutely.
And I think as ecstatic as Bears fans are about this win, which they should be, because, it's been decades. This is the first time in my lifetime that I can remember the Bears actually holding their own against the Packers consistently. Mm-hmm. So they should be ecstatic about it. But I guarantee you, in a private moment, while they're alone in the darkest part of their basement, they're going, holy shit. Like, we just got so lucky.
I know a handful of Bears fans who aren't speaking a word. They don't want to talk about the Packer game. They don't want to talk about the playoffs.
Sure.
They don't want to mention anything about the Rams at all.
Sure.
So, they got a pretty good grip on reality. They understand. There's a little bit of luck that goes with some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Chiefs did the same thing,
Absolutely.
coming from behind or winning these close games by 1 score or whatever it is. There's a lot of luck that goes with that too. These guys ain't saying a word.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to mention anything. They're putting nothing out in the universe at all.
Yeah. And I know you don't want to give them their props, but you have to keep your head in it for the entirety of the game, and they did.
Yeah.
They were down 21-3, and they kept their head in it. They kept chipping away at it. They kept trying. They could have easily just given up to the point, And I think the Packers did that in a way where they went into halftime. They're like, man, that sucks that McManus missed that field goal, but we're up 21-3. We can kind of cruise now. Like, we've been playing really well. I don't think they've got it. We've kind of got them, and I think they fell asleep at the wheel, to be honest.
But you have to think that some of the players offensively were like, really? Like, you want to run that? You want to run that?
Yeah.
We're still up 21-3. We got the ball here early in the second half. We're still up.
Yeah.
Why not just a nice healthy dose of Josh Jacobs? Like, let's just let him bang around in there.
Yeah.
You want to slow those guys down up front that are bringing 4 guys with pressure. You want to slow them down? Drop a screen over their head.
Yeah.
Run some quick outs. Run something like that. Drop a screen to a running back over the top of them. It'll slow their asses down. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I think the next progression in what I want to see from Jordan over the next couple of years, I think, is I want to see him take more command of, all right, you get up to the line, you see what you see, and then he's got to turn into that vet that changes the play that's going to help his team.
Does he have that authority, though?
That's what I mean.
Is he allowed that?
I think LaFleur needs to. I think we've slowly seen him take the training wheels off over the course of 3 years.
Yeah, let him play.
I think he was super handcuffed in year 1. Year 2, I think it was a little bit better. This year, obviously, a little bit more. But you're paying him $55 million a year, Kelly.
Let him play.
And he was on point Saturday night. He was the best player in that stadium.
Agreed.
Bar none.
Agreed.
From beginning to end.
Agreed. Yep.
You cannot handcuff him. Allow him to go out there and win you games, if at all possible.
Right.
Now, there were a couple throws that he missed, some other things there, but I just think there was some play calling and some other things, and you got to shore up that offensive line and make sure he's got time to do it. And I understand that there was a couple injuries, and it definitely didn't help that. And you want to just pretty much summarize what happened to the Packers over the course of this year with injuries and a bunch of other things. Their center, their second string center, got hurt on the final drive of the game. And then what do you have on the final play? Bad snap, drops the ball,
Correct.
all sorts of just idiocy that goes on with that, and just ridiculousness, right? So we got to shore up the O-line and do some other things, but you're paying him $55 million a year. I would let him sling it a little bit more. Obviously, they threw the ball 30 some odd times in the second half and only ran it 8, but I think you got to be more. You have to be more balanced, and I think you've got to dial some stuff up for Jordan to be special.
It kind of feels like a conversation we had about Baltimore as well. You've got a really good running game, and it's working. It's being effective, right? Yeah. And Baltimore led the league in rushes however many years ago.
Yeah.
In rushing yards, whatever. Like, they were the unanimous rushing king. 8 carries.
Yeah.
In an AFC championship game, right? It feels like a very similar conversation, except the Ravens never had a 21-3 lead in that game.
Yeah.
They were just really good at rushing the football. Come on, Packers. I mean,
it's an embarrassment for sure, and I think it's probably one of the most embarrassing. I mean, they've had a ton of them. You know, when I look back at some of the opportunities that they've had over the years, but I mean, when you think about it being the Bears and where it was and all this other stuff, and it's definitely a top 5 embarrassing loss that I've ever been a part of. And I think, you know, it's like 2 of them have happened in the last month, and they're both to the same team on the same field with similar results. And you're just like, how does that stuff happen? How do you not allow yourself? And now it just plays all sorts of games with you. It's the same thing that's happened with the Chiefs for a long period of time, where you think you got them where you want them, and then now your head starts getting into it. And then now you're playing head games with yourself, and now it's a whole different thing to try to overcome. So now they have to go into next year knowing that they beat this team 3 times, but only counted for 1 win, and you have to close. So culturally, as a coach, which it looks like LaFleur's coming back, you've coached high school football. How do you change the culture within that locker room to make sure that you can close these games, that you can go, hey, we got to keep our foot on their neck and just choke them out without letting it off? Do you stay aggressive, but then you get too aggressive and then things go the other way? How do you change the culture of that?
When it feels like the wheels are falling off the bus and we got to make some not necessarily drastic changes or whatever. And again, I'm an assistant volunteer high school football
But you've been in locker rooms, you've been around the culture, you know, like
I can tell you when the wheels started falling off the bus and things didn't feel like we couldn't get anything right, and what we were really good at, we were no longer really good at. We went back and simplified everything. Yeah. We made everything else simple. Like, if defensive line, if we were running line stunts and we were running slants and crossers and all that other stuff, we went back to, nope, we're going straight up. We're doing club and rip. We're doing swims. We're doing whatever. We're just doing really simple stuff. Keep it simple. That's what we did. Practices went back to fundamental stuff. Typically where we're running things or running schemes and we're doing things, now we're back to hitting the sled. We're rolling around on the ground. We're just doing one-on-one stuff with the offensive line, doing whatever. We simplified everything. And it's like, just get back to playing football again. Get out of your own damn head. Quit overthinking shit, basically outthinking yourself, and just get back to playing the game of football again.
Yeah.
Go back to what you know, which is just simply playing the game. That's what we did. We did that with one of the high school teams. One of our teams were making a playoff push. You could feel that you could cut the tension, right? You could cut the tension on a wide open football field, outdoors. You could cut the tension. The kids were tight, and they were like, oh, man, pressure. Hill City's not really known for being in the playoffs, making a run, and the anxiety was through the roof. And it was, this is the day where we just need to do simple things. Like, just let the receivers go run routes. Yeah. Just let the D-line run around and do some one-on-one stuff. Let them go hit a tackling.
Well, that's kind of, and if you look at, and I don't mean to interrupt, but like, the thought comes to my head when you look at what the Bears did in the second half. I don't really think they had a play that was called in the huddle, but it seemed like every 8 plays that they ran was just something where Caleb escaped the pocket and they just let guys run around and beat guys in coverage.
Yeah. Yep.
Because he's damn near impossible to sack. Gary gives up on every play, so you're not getting any sort of pass rush from anybody, let alone him. So you can allow him to kind of float outside the pocket, wait for wide receivers to basically outrun their coverage, and just kind of toss it up. And that's kind of how I felt. It just turned into backyard football for the Bears for a lot of the second half, giving them a lot more space, a lot more yardage downfield, a whole bunch of other stuff. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm hoping and praying that Hafley gets a head coaching job. Because I think what he's turned into from year 1 to year 2 has been a drastic drop-off. We're basically back to Joe Barry numbers. I can't deny it. You look at it, it's been terrible. They can't generate turnovers, none of it.
Yep.
So, I mean, and that's kind of the thing I was going at with LaFleur, and to kind of bring it all back, you can't make the correct hire. I mean, it's just been defensive coordinator after defensive coordinator for 7 years, and it just looks the same. And I think there's talent there. I mean, obviously the secondary isn't what you would want it to be. I think it's definitely the weakest portion of their entire defense, and I would like to see them invest draft picks in that and improve it as well as the offensive line. But he can't get that right, and special teams is just bad all the time. McManus left 7 points on the board, or off the board, excuse me, in that game. 2 missed field goals and an extra point. You imagine how big of an extra point that is when you're down 4?
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't trust him to make the game-winning field goal anyway. But I mean, it's just these things that snowball on you when you can't make the correct hires.
Sometimes it's maybe not a bad thing to have a riff or to have a personality conflict where the personalities of the head coach and your coordinators don't necessarily align. And I bring this up as an example. Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, X number of years ago. Everybody got to see the fireworks on the sidelines where Kelsey's yelling at Bieniemy, Bieniemy's yelling back at him, Mahomes is yelling at him. Fans are in an uproar, get rid of Bieniemy. Andy Reid just kind of stepping back, just kind of scribbling stuff on his clipboard there and kind of stepping back, not necessarily getting involved. Then you hear stories about they go in at a halftime and Bieniemy is holding the entire offense, specifically the skill position guys, holding them very accountable in whatever way he saw fit. I would imagine there was some pretty colorful language used in whatever the case was. Players were in an uproar. Everybody's mad. Reed had to step in and say, hey, come on, settle down, whatever, pushing guys away from each other, whatever. However, you then see Matt Nagy take over, or you see an offensive coordinator come around for the Chiefs who's more in alignment with Andy Reid's style. And what's the thing that we heard about this year and last year all year long? There's no accountability. The players, they look like they're half-assing it.
It's the good old boys club, right?
Right. They're taking plays off. But you know what? Andy's he's a player-friendly coach, da-da-da-da. They lose that accountability, and all of a sudden, now everybody's talking about the accountability piece again. You had it.
Yeah.
You had it in Eric Bieniemy. And I don't know what my stance was. I can't even remember if I was like, he's right for the team. That's the kind of guy you need in the locker room. He's a running backs coach. Now he's an OC. He's going to get in your face. He's going to grind you out type of thing. Now you're missing it. And now you have a season that you just saw from Kansas City where it's like they don't have a really good excuse to be a 6-loss team. Oh, now 7. Oh, now potentially 8. They don't have a really good excuse, but everybody wants to point fingers at the accountability. And everybody's like, oh, Matt Nagy needs to be gone. And it's like, well, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? You want the guy that's going to get up in your face and he's going to bump chest with you and he's going to slam into a locker and he's going to say, pull your head out of your ass and start playing? Or do you want Matt Nagy?
Yeah.
Like, well, what do you want? You want a healthy mix? Because a healthy mix doesn't exist.
Right.
You either got somebody that's going to hold you accountable or you got somebody that's just going to say, next play.
Yeah. Well,
next
it's
play. Play.
For the visual learners, it's kind of like those scenes in Remember the Titans where you've got the D coordinator and Coach Boone that are just kind of going at it.
Yeah.
For a lot of the movie, right?
Right.
Calling each other out on different things, like get your defense in order, all this other stuff, blah,
Yep.
blah, blah. And I mean, that's kind of the relationship I think you'd want where you challenge each other. They're still friends at the end of the day. But you're pushing each other to be better because it's like, hey, you need to be held accountable for a lot of things, and if you're not, then you just do whatever.
Correct. So when hiring for those positions, that has to be incredibly difficult because depending on your coach, depending on the age, depending on what tree they came from and who they coached with and where their kind of career started, do they want somebody that aligns? Do they want somebody that's going to challenge them? Do they want somebody that who's going to do those things? Because as a fan base, they just want to win.
Yeah.
They just want to win. They don't care. Now, do they like an offensive coordinator going after Travis Kelce and, up in his grill and Patrick Mahomes whipping his helmet and being mad and doing all this stuff? Do they like to see that? No, not necessarily. But what were the results? The results that you saw, a team was very accountable. A team wasn't just standing up in front of the podium after a loss saying, we just need to get better and we're going to break down the film or we're going to work on some things and we're going to get better. No. It was finger pointing. You effed this up. You dicked this up. You screwed this up. You did this, this, and this. If you don't do these 3 things, we have a different outcome. That's the accountability piece that maybe Matt LaFleur would benefit from a defense because your current defensive coordinator had a top 10 unit statistically through the first half of the season. They were playing at a very high level. Yes, Everybody has injuries. Micah Parsons goes down, that's tough.
Well,
right, but they didn't have Micah the entire season, right? They didn't have him the entire season. Wasn't the trade like week whatever it was? Or did they have him the whole season?
They had him week 1.
They had him by training camp.
Well, and that was the point I was trying to make earlier, too. I think it was in a text where I was like, you spent basically from January until the end of August, preparing your defense without Micah Parsons. You
Right.
had no idea you were going to get him.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you integrate him in, and obviously he's one of those guys that's like, hey,
Plug and play.
go get the quarterback.
Yep.
That's all you got to do. Just be aggressive and go get the quarterback. Pretty simple, right? And then he knows some other things, but, depending on who you talk to, maybe he doesn't, maybe he does. But
Give me the ball, Danny.
yeah, exactly.
Give me the ball.
I got you the ball.
I got you the ball.
And the argument can be made that actually I don't think the defense really started to drop off till the latter half of the season, but I have a stat here. And we talk about injuries, right? And I'm not trying to make excuses, but it does matter. This is the same conversation I was having with Anthony at one point in time where it's like, yes,
It plays a role.
it plays a role, but you can't expect the next guy up to be the guy that got hurt.
That philosophy does not work statistically.
No.
You can say it and feel good about it. Next
Right.
man up, next man up.
Right.
You can feel good about it all day long.
Yeah.
Statistically, it doesn't support you feeling good about it all the time.
So here are the Packers' defensive stats, weeks 1 through 14, and then their defensive stats weeks 15 through 17 after Micah Parsons got hurt. You ready for this?
Yep.
Points per game, weeks 1 through 14, average about 19. Points per game, weeks 15 through 17, 32.3.
Yes.
Total yards, 287.2 through the first 14 weeks. Last 3 weeks, 401.7.
Correct.
Red zone touchdown percentage, they were given about 58.3%. Last 3 games, 75% touchdowns. 12 takeaways, 1 takeaway. 33 sacks between weeks 1 and 14, Kelly. How many sacks did they have in weeks 15, 16, and 17?
Less than 3.
1.
That'll work too.
Singular sack. And I think they moved it up to 2 in week 18 when Sorrell got a sack against the Vikings. But regardless, that doesn't paint the whole picture for sure.
Makes a difference.
But it does make a difference when you can consistently get pressure on the quarterback. He was leading the league in QB pressures, which was taking a ton of pressure off of that sketchy defensive unit or the defensive back unit that the Packers have where, hey, if you have to cover for more than 10 seconds, more than 5 seconds, you're probably screwed.
Right.
And
Right.
that's kind of what we saw because Corey Valentine, not that great. Keyshawn Nixon, really not that great. They've got 2 good safeties in Bullard and Xavier, but it's like, okay, what do you do? So, I mean, they've got some things to figure out for sure, and I think we spent enough time on this. But, again, you got to stay in the game. You got to be able to finish it, and that's what the Bears did. So props to them. They get to go play the Rams, and then we get another iteration of the Niners and the Seahawks. We get New England against Houston, and we get Buffalo against Denver. Those are your final 8 teams left vying for an opportunity at the Lombardi Trophy. Kelly, of those 8 teams,
somebody from the NFC West is going to the NFC Championship. Fact check me all you want. An NFC West team will be in the NFC Championship.
You have $1,000. You're
I have
going
$1,000.
to put it on one team to win the whole thing.
Yep.
Who are you putting it on?
Oh my gosh, I knew you were going to ask this, and I here's who I want to put it on.
What does your gut say? Not what does your brain say?
Oof. Well, they work hand in hand. Can I just break down each one?
Yeah.
I don't think Denver is consistent enough, and I don't think they have enough of a resume at this point in terms of like playoff experience
Year too
or whatever
early.
it is.
It's a year too early, right?
I feel like it. They got a really good defense, a very, very, very good defense. And I think Buffalo, not so much. I think Buffalo has showed several weaknesses where an offense can exploit it. I just don't know if Denver's offense is good enough to do that. I don't trust Denver. I don't trust Buffalo. If Allen is not Superman, and he's not Superman for an entire 4 quarters, they aren't going to stay in a game very long. My feeling only. Houston, defense, lights out. But offensively, dude, can I just leave it at that? Dude. 4 turnovers. We can't move the ball. We can't necessarily do anything. If we don't have, and now Nico Collins, maybe out with a concussion. If we can't run the ball, we sure as hell can't throw it. And our quarterback, we don't know what he's going to do. New England, good defensively, maybe consistent, probably one of the more consistent teams left.
They got more pressure and more sack rate on the Chargers than they have all year.
They did.
But the Chargers are awful offensive line. Have you seen This is a total side note, but have you seen everybody calling Justin Herbert if man?
Huh.
He's the if man. If he had an offensive line, if he had this, if he had that, he would be all this other stuff. And it's like, I like Herbert. I think he's a good quarterback, but it is funny how there's like, again, it's this narrative that like you give excuses for one coach or you give excuses for one player, but you don't give it for another because of reasons.
Yep.
So anyway,
and New England, not necessarily a lot of playoff experience either, but they've been playing relatively consistent. They've beaten some teams that they should. They've won some big games. I get it. When you ask for gut, my gut's not with them.
So nobody in the AFC.
I don't feel good about anybody in the AFC.
Okay.
I don't. The one in the NFC that you're telling me to go with my heart, go with my gut, go with whatever you told me to go with, I got to go with Seattle. And people are going to throw this at me and go, oh, sure, take the 1 seed. No, because defensively they play well.
Breaking news as of right now.
Mike Tomlin is fired.
Mike Tomlin is stepping down.
Oh.
As Steelers head coach.
Oh, my.
Stepping down. Not fired, but stepping down.
You want news as it happens? Welcome to the Armchair Authority.
Per ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Stepping
down.
So he's fired. He's
fired in a way that doesn't make it look bad.
Correct. He's fired without using
that
the
is
F
the
word.
most like you either resign or we let you go.
Correct.
Type of thing.
Yep.
So
that's the
stepping down.
We're going to go ahead and allow you to pack
Thank
some
you
boxes.
for your 20 years of service. We'd rather not use the word fired. See you later.
He probably just succumbed to all of the
We are one Zach Taylor
attention.
away from the entire AFC North being a complete shakeup. And we were joking about that last night where it's like, I think they should all just do the Chinese fire drill and just choose different coaching positions.
Yeah.
So they all just coach in the same division again.
Somebody hit the old Photoshop and put John Harbaugh in Cleveland Browns outfit and said, John Harbaugh, the next coach of the Cleveland. And I'm like, that can't happen. Like that. It would be a Browns thing, but that can't.
This really is the changing of the guard, though, if you look at it. You've got 17 years, 18 years, or whatever of Harbaugh and Tomlin at their respective positions.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers is probably done. I mean, this is the last vestiges of like my childhood and what the NFL was for the most part. You look at the teams that are remaining in the playoffs, and you would think it was like 2008 based on who's in here, but quarterbacks are leaving, old-time coaches are moving on to different places. I mean, Andy Reid's probably the next logical one to go at some point.
Love the guy. Was just kind of hoping this was going to be the year to step away.
So, do you think, and we'll get back to this just because this is like...
The only thing I'm going to say is this. Seattle is my team, and I know they're the 1 seed and blah, blah, blah.
Well, they're the most well-rounded, right?
But I don't trust Sam Darnold. In the playoffs, I don't trust him.
Okay.
I don't. The one that I trust the most in the NFC is San Francisco.
Okay.
Shanahan's been there. They've been there. That team has been to 2 Super Bowls, lost 2 Super Bowls against the Chiefs team they should have never lost to. They're the ones that I trust the most in the NFC right now or in the remaining playoffs.
Here's my prediction, just real quick.
And if the Rams get hot and Stafford gets hot,
listen,
look out.
Here's my prediction real quick. I love everything that you said. I agree with most of it, right? I don't think there's anything that I don't. I am, if I wasn't a Packers fan, I'd be a Bills fan. It's not one of those things where they're my second team. I've enjoyed the Bills since Ryan Fitzpatrick was there. Okay? Like they're just one of those cultures that I'm like, that's interesting and I like it. Okay? I like their colors. I like the culture. I like the Bills Mafia stuff, whatever. So I'm riding with Buffalo right now, but not to win the whole thing because I just don't think they've got all the pieces there to do it. I would love to see Josh Allen just like put on the cape and do the whole thing and shut up all the haters, right? And just be done with it.
Me in particular. Yeah, me.
I think it'd be great.
I get it. You could say me.
I think it'd be great, but here's how I think it's going to play out. I'm not from the future, but I think I've got a better track record of predicting the future than you do in recent memory.
Yeah. I think Anthony spent some time letting me know that I was very wrong about the Bears. And, okay.
Sure, yeah. I think it's going to play out like this. I think you have a season that's full of fun stories and things like that. What better story to tell than 2 division rivals in the AFC going at it in the championship and 2 division rivals in the NFC going at it at the championship?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think you're going to get Bills-Patriots for the 3rd time, and I think you're going to get Rams-Niners for the 3rd time.
Very possible.
I think that's the most compelling 4 teams remaining. I think it's going to bring the most drama. I think if you were writing a script, I think that would be the one that you would hope for would end in the final 4 teams.
I think to break my freaking heart, Chicago's going to find themselves in the NFC Championship just to extend my misery another week.
So just to be the cynic,
I'm going to be absolutely, what's the word? Insufferable.
Yeah.
I'm going to be insufferable on this bitch if Chicago drops this game to the Rams.
Just to be a cynic, there is a part of me that wants them to make it to the NFC Championship game.
Stop it.
Just
Is
so they
that
can
Kelly's
have
unwritten rule?
Just so they can have their heart ripped out of their chest one more time and just feel exactly what I feel.
Yeah, but damn it, if they extend another week, it gives them one step closer to actually finding themselves in a Super Bowl. And I want that.
They've done that
eliminated.
before. They've done that before. That Peyton Manning took care of that. It was okay. So
get them out.
I just don't. I think again, that's a team that's a year or two early. I think they've had a great season, but there's just going to be a lot. If you watch the way the Rams managed that end of game last week or this weekend against Carolina, different.
Yeah.
The play calling's different. Their offensive line is different. Sean
Correct.
McVay's been there, done that. He's not going to do the stupid stuff that LaFleur does where it's just like, and listen, I have grown to actually really admire Matthew Stafford. I even liked him when he was in Detroit for the most part.
Felt terrible for him.
Yeah.
I felt awful.
But since he's gone to the Rams and I've seen what he's done, especially this year, and you can go back, you can listen to the episode that we had in August where I was like, dude, I don't know about Stafford. You're talking about spine stuff and fusions and herniated disc, and I just dealt with a herniated disc earlier this year, and then he puts in an MVP season.
Correct.
And he's got him on the brink of another NFC Championship appearance.
Correct.
How do you not root for him? How do you not root for that team? Plus, Devontae Adams is over there, and I like Puka Nacua, and all this. There's a bunch of stuff going on. So I would hope, my dream right now, my hope is Buffalo versus the Rams, and Buffalo takes it home.
You look at the teams, right? And you always, generally...
Or Stafford gets another one and rides off into the sunset.
That would be great. Generally, you look at these situations, doesn't matter the league, NFL, NBA, MLB, whatever. A team kind of works its way in there where they're kind of the feel-good, right? We talked about this with the college football playoffs. That's eliminated. Those feel-goods were gone right away because that system's completely broken. However, in this one, you'd like to think that Chicago would be kind of that team where everybody's like, yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool if they end up in the Super Bowl. I don't think they've got America on their side. I think with Ben Johnson and with Caleb Williams and some of the shenanigans and the comments and whatever, I don't think that's the case with them. I don't think anybody, because you look at Seattle, right? They had success a decade ago or more with Super Bowl stuff, Russell Wilson, beast mode, all that. San Francisco.
But Sam Darnold is endearing. He's had this story of hey, from the ashes, he's risen like a phoenix to come back.
I get that. But you can look at 3 of the 4 remaining NFC teams, and you could say they've all been in the Super Bowl in the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
They've all been there. They've had their success. They've had their time. So it would make sense to look at that and go, Chicago. God, wouldn't that be a feel-good story?
No.
And I'm going to go with 90% of this country who follows the NFL are going to be freaking Rams fans this weekend. And I'm a part of that 90% because nobody wants to see those jackwagons go anywhere.
I'm at a point where I'm actively rooting for San Francisco. I never thought I would be in that position. I have some of the teams that I hate the most right up there are it's the Bears at number 1 for sure. And that was even before this year. I just don't like them. Don't like them. Whatever. And then it would be teams like, the Vikings, and then it would be San Francisco, Seattle, and Dallas in no particular order.
Sure.
Okay, right? This year has been so weird. I have actively been rooting for San Francisco because I like San Francisco more than I like the Eagles. And I understand I didn't list the Eagles in that order, but the Eagles have become so unlikable that I was rooting for San Francisco.
Yeah.
The Bears have become so much more unlikable that I'm I would rather see San Francisco win their 7th Super Bowl or whatever it is, their 6th Super Bowl.
I agree.
Than the Bears even coming close to winning one.
No dispute. And a friend of the show and a friend of our boy group text messaging is 100% behind the Bears. I know it. He doesn't even have to say it
because he's a troll. He's a massive troll. That's the only reason why.
He doesn't like them. He doesn't want anything to do with them. He feels the exact same way that I feel about them, but he isn't going to say it like I say it. I think it's San Francisco, New England Super Bowl.
San Francisco, New England.
I don't trust Darnold. I love Seattle's what they got going on, and they're consistent. They're defensively they play damn near as well as Houston plays.
You say
but
that out loud.
I don't trust Darnold.
That might be the worst possible Super Bowl matchup for me, just because I don't want to see New England get number 7, and I don't really want to see San Francisco get number 6.
That's why,
and that's disgusting to me.
They're going to be there. That's my take. That's where. But I know how this is going to work. I know how this is going to work, and I'm going to have to drag this shit on another week, or probably 2 weeks of listening to Ben Johnson and watching the Bears. 7 seconds left, down by 21 points, and somehow they win the damn thing. I'm going to have to deal with that
Turns out if you throw the ball, it bounces off the goalpost and lands in the other end zone with your team catching it. It's worth 21 points.
And they're going to give the other team a safety. You're going to get 9. That's what's going to happen.
And
That's
it's going to ruin the spread, and everybody's going to get
exactly.
pissed
And
off
then they're
about
going to get a free kick, and if it goes through the uprights, they get 3 more. That's how they're going to do this shit. Because the football guides hate me right now, and that's how it's going for me.
Yeah, so much for them losing their last 6 games. Huh?
Oh man, did they even lose 2 of them?
They lost
Maybe.
the majority of them, I think. But
Whatever. Yeah, I'm sitting in a courtroom, and I've got Mr. Anthony sitting next to me who writes "Da Bears" on a piece of paper and holds it up, and he's like, "You were wrong."
He's such a troll, man.
I'm like, "Come on!"
He's such a troll.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Go San Francisco. I don't trust Arnold. Prove me wrong. That would be great. NFC wise, just anybody but the Bears, please. Anybody but the Bears.
Yeah. For those that don't know, your game's on the 17th, which I believe is a Saturday. You've got the first game being Denver and Buffalo at 2:30. Well, on CBS at 2:30, depending on where you're at. That's 2:30. That'd be 2:30 Mountain Time. And then the nightcap for that is Seattle, San Francisco at 6 o'clock on Fox. And then Sunday, you get a random 1 o'clock ABC game.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep.
Between Houston and New England, and then you end it with Sunday Night Football starting at 4:30 Mountain Time between the Rams and the Bears.
That's what happens when Disney Plus gets involved, and all of a sudden ABC, ESPN, Disney Plus, all that.
Well, shoot, I mean,
Disney Plus starts forwarding some money, and
Disney's
here it comes.
eating up everything.
Yeah,
it's going to be a monopoly because I'm pretty sure they own Fox.
They own a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yep. They own part of my house.
Anyway, I hope it's Buffalo and Los Angeles, just so I can say, hey, either the haters stop hating on Allen or Stafford can ride off into the sunset with another Super Bowl. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I want one for Brock Purdy.
I like him, but I don't like him that much.
I want one for Brock. I do.
Like
it's an Iowa State thing. It is. It's the
of the teams you would like to see win.
Power
So
five.
there's 8 left. Give me your 1 through 8 of who you want to see win the most to the least. Fairly quickly.
What am I doing? 1 through 8?
I'll do it, and then you can do it.
You don't bother with 8. You know where that one's at.
I would like to see Buffalo, and then I'd like to see the Rams, followed by Houston, then Seattle, Denver, San Francisco, New England, Chicago.
Everybody is fine 1 through 5. No, 1 through 6. Everybody is fine. 7, Buffalo. 8, Chicago.
All right, fair enough.
Right there.
Who's your number 1?
I'm going to go with San Francisco.
San Francisco?
Followed by the Rams.
All right.
Followed by Drake May.
You just like that Iowa State guy.
I do.
Yeah.
I like
You've
Brock
invested
Purdy.
too much money into that school not to, so
I have
totally
to.
get it.
Another Kelly's unwritten rule.
Yeah.
When you pay so much of his NIL money, I mean, I got to go for the guy. Right?
Yeah. All right, real quick. Tomlin, out, stepping down, stepping away. Steelers, where do they go?
Ooh, God, we should make a phone call. We should make a phone call.
Think they'd
Talk
pick up?
about
Do you think
off
they'd
the
pick
cuff.
up?
Talk about off the cuff. You should just dial a number.
No,
look at
'cause
how
I wouldn't-
excited
I
we
wouldn't
are.
wanna
Look
do
at
that. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want that done to me. I'm not
See,
gonna do that.
okay, reverse roles. Reverse roles. I'm doing a podcast without you, which would feel really weird.
Sure.
But LaFleur gets the boot.
Yeah.
I call you. How are you going to take that? You're going to be fine. You're going to
Probably.
be fine, right?
Yeah, but I'm different though.
I know you're different.
I'm built different.
I know, but see, this is
My soul died 6 years ago.
But getting some raw and some fresh Tomlin cult by one of the cult members of Mr. Handsome Man, Mr. Whatever, all right, fine. We'll leave it alone.
Where do they go? Where do they go from here? Do they go offensive? Do they hire an offensive guru type of guy, or do they stick with the old tried and true defensive? What do you foresee them doing, or what should they do?
Well,
You got no quarterback. I think this all but puts the nail in the coffin for Aaron Rodgers coming back. No Tomlin. I don't think he wants any part of coming back to a new regime, any of that stuff.
I think he knew that when he was stepping down.
I know, but the odds are.
Yep. I think there's several of these dudes, big old Hayward, Rodgers, some of these vets that have been there for a long time. Yeah. Hell, even Watt. Maybe.
You blow it up, right?
You have to blow it up.
Yeah.
I think if you're Pittsburgh, this is what we have with Mike Tomlin. This was his philosophy. This is his scheme. This is what he looked for. These are his likes and dislikes. We go flip the coin, exact opposite. So who does that entail? I have no idea. I don't know who's all available and who they're looking at or whatever. But I think with Pittsburgh, the days of turn around, hand it off, grind it out for 4, 5, 6 yards, tough nose, Pittsburgh football, whatever Tomlin brought. I think you got to do something different because the NFL is trending that way. The NFL is not trending towards that tough, drop your head and go. Mike Vrabel is actually still finding a way to change things up a little bit, and Drake May's throwing the ball more than anybody anticipated he would under Vrabel's offense because Vrabel was turn around, give it to Derrick Henry, bang that thing up there, 25 rushes a game. He's not even doing that with New England anymore.
To Vrabel's credit, he, as much as I don't really like Josh McDaniel, he's a competent offensive coordinator.
He is.
And Vrabel knows that.
He is.
And he made the right hire.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Vrabel can turn around and bust his lip open, high-fiving a defensive player, doing whatever he does. Yeah. He can get those guys all amped up because Vrabel himself, D guy. I think you got to go the opposite. You got to go, whatever Mike Tomlin is, we have to do the exact opposite.
I would seriously consider hiring Kevin Stefanski.
Man, I don't know. Some of these guys that have been with the Raiders, who have been with the Browns, who have been in some of these not so good programs, you feel like maybe they're broken a little bit broken.
I just think a lot of what happened in Cleveland was outside of his control. Yeah. I think it's just
he was coach of the year there at least once.
I think he did the best with what he had, what he could. But I mean, you keep looking at what they keep putting in front of him as far as quarterbacks and offensive players and stuff like that. I don't think you could really name one that you've been like, wow, you really got that right.
I think the Steelers just need to look a little bit to the east and bring in Nick Sirianni. That's what I think. Bring Nick in there.
What?
I don't like the Steelers, and I don't like Sirianni. What a great fit. Let's do it. So bring in Sirianni.
Just the ultra hate.
Yeah. That's what this episode's about today.
Yeah. I don't think Sirianni.
It's just going to be labeled hate.
Do you think is this the end for Tomlin, or does he coach somewhere else?
Takes a year off, maybe 2. He finds his way back in.
Successfully?
Coming back in?
Does he pull an Andy Reid and is successful in his next coaching adventure?
Man, I don't know.
Or has the game passed him by?
What work is he going to do? What's he going to do in the meantime? Andy Reid, at least his blah, vanilla, this is what I've done in Philadelphia for so long. It doesn't get us to the big game. It doesn't win us the big moment. He was able to change some of that, and maybe he relinquished some of that stuff with his OCs and just said, okay, you guys take a little bit more of the reins. I'm going to step back and just do more of the coaching thing. Did Reid allow that? Yes. I think there were moments when Reid said, give me that goddamn clipboard, and he started calling the plays and doing whatever because they didn't trust him. I think that happened too. How much is Tomlin going to change? What Tomlin's been doing, at least with game management, whatever the case is, his game management's been pretty good. I would argue that. It's been pretty good. But players rallying around him like they once did, that's gone. That's not there anymore. So what's he going to do differently if he gets a chance to approach the game a second time, step out, look in, get back in? How is he going to approach it differently? It's entirely up to him. I think it's got to be really hard for a coach to step away and come back in and bring all of the same attributes that you had while you were coaching previously and bring that same skill set into the NFL, because it is changing more and more every single year with each draft class and each type of player that comes in.
Yeah.
It is nowhere near what it was when Tomlin started the NFL. Obviously, he's been there a long time. But when he stepped in, the caliber of player then and the mindset of the players then, not even a fraction of that exists anymore with these guys now. And I think it's going to continuously get, and I'll say it, it's going to continuously get worse because of NIL and what these players are being accustomed to and how they're being groomed and whatever's happening to them in college. That mindset that Tomlin carried, which I was once behind 100%, I'm still behind that mindset. I mean, I get on here and pound my fists on the table and do everything. I'm still behind that philosophy. But making it succeed when you're coaching a group of guys that don't see it that way is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's all fine and well, but I think, like you said, you have to adapt to the new culture of players that are coming in, because it's not the same that it was before. You don't have these. A lot of these guys are more entitled than ever leaving college and coming to the pros, thinking that they deserve something because they were earning millions of dollars in NIL money here, and now they think that's going to carry over to the league, and it's all this other stuff. So it's right along what you're talking about. It's like, how do you adjust to that as a coach?
Bold take, but not really a bold take. Whoever they hire will be an offensive coordinator, not an incoming previous head coach. It will be an OC.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Do you think Tomlin goes to the top of is he like the golden goose now, or is it still John Harbaugh?
No, it's him.
You think it's him?
It's still him.
Yeah.
It's him and Harbaugh. Flip them however you want.
Yeah.
It's still up there.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Interesting.
Wow, breaking news, too.
Yeah, right.
Holy.
How often do we get to do that?
I'll tell you what. This is legit.
Yeah, it'll be 2 days old by the time this comes out, but who knows?
Kind of blew my prediction out of the water, right? Didn't I say he'd be gone by the end of January?
Well, you were right.
Well, yeah.
You just got to hope for Sirianni now.
I could have said end of the day.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was coming that fast.
What does that say? Steps down. Chargers reportedly fire OC Greg Roman. Not that surprising. And then they're just kind of looking to see where John Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel end up. We didn't really talk about Mike McDaniel last week or the week before. I think I sent it out in a text afterwards where I'm like, yeah, we didn't even talk about the fact that he's still around. And then he got fired like 2 days later.
Well, right. He's on the hot seat, and everybody wants to fire him, and all of a sudden they rattle off 3 or 4 straight wins, and then everything just goes mute. Boop, you hear nothing. And finally, look at him. Look at his picture, crying out loud.
It's not.
Is that a guy you want leading your organization?
But with Matt Ryan now kind of the head of President Football Operations in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already discussions about McDaniel coming over there, so we'll see exactly what happens.
Did he just interview with the Browns?
I think so. Him and Raheem Morris have had some interviews here and there.
Matt Nagy, I think, just went with the Browns as well.
Matt Nagy, yeah. There's been talks about Nagy with the Titans. There's been talks about Mike McCarthy. There's been talks about you name it. They've been in there. Who else? Oh, Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's name got brought up at some point.
Oh, yeah. Of course it does.
What the hell are we thinking there?
Of course it does.
The ginger clapper.
Holy crap. He's a puppet. He's always been a puppet. You know, Mike Kafka. I think that's a name. I think that's a name that's going to show up. I think it's going to show up in a head coaching job somewhere.
What about Brian Flores?
Why not? Somebody
Ravens.
Somebody crystal balled him. Somebody crystal balled him to the Raiders.
No.
Yes, they did.
Well, I mean,
I'm not telling you.
I'm sure they did, but I don't. That doesn't fit.
They crystal balled him to the Raiders.
Yeah, that's not a Brady thing. Well, it might be. He was in New England, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think Raiders feel like I feel like if they're gonna draft Mendoza.
Raiders are a Stefanski fit.
They're gonna draft Mendoza.
Yep.
I think you need to go with offensive guru type of guy to make sure that Mendoza's got the best opportunity to be successful.
Mike McDaniel.
Stop it.
He's your guy.
Stop it. I'm pretty sure they're still paying him, so they could probably just bring him in and they wouldn't have to pay him anything. Did you see that? They're paying like $50 million to coaches that no longer are in the building.
Yes. Yeah.
Antonio Pierce, there's a name I haven't heard of in forever. He's still getting paid by them. Yep. I forgot he had a cup of coffee there. My goodness.
Flores, that
Flores seems like a Ravens thing, though. Doesn't it? That just seems like the next iteration of John Harbaugh.
It kind of does.
Right?
It does.
Defensive guy, kind of, just...
And, I mean, had the issues, and then everything went really silent. Like, everything went radio silent.
He had a big, like, internal self-reflection moment, though.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of players talk about how he's been open with how he didn't really handle the situation in Miami all that well. He's done a lot of reflecting and about how he handled it and who he wants to be as a coach and all this other stuff. And, like...
But everything went quiet, and everybody left him alone.
Yeah.
And it's just like, let him go be a good defensive coordinator who did a wonderful job with the Vikings.
Yeah, I think so. Please hire him. Get him out of the North. That would be great.
I just wanted Andy Reid to step away. Why couldn't it?
Yeah.
I really, when you flipped your arm up and you're like breaking, I'm like, oh, Andy Reid is going down the road.
Yeah, you're not that lucky.
Man.
Yeah. Are you ready for some change?
I love it. Yes, it's time.
Just kind of
Just
refresh it a little bit. Who would you take in this year's coaching cycle if you could get rid of Andy Reid?
I'd take Flores.
I'd take
Harbaugh.
You'd go defensive?
I'd take Harbaugh.
Defensive-minded guy is where you'd go?
I'd take John Harbaugh as well.
Again, the John Harbaugh thing,
I'd take Mike Kafka.
All right. There's a name.
Yep. Isn't he the interim?
Fun to say.
Interim for the Giants, right?
I think so.
Didn't he step in as interim?
Yeah.
Don't give me Joe Brady. I want nothing to do with that.
But why?
Don't give me anybody that's been with the Raiders. I don't want that. Don't look at Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Don't look at any of these guys. Don't give me Mike McCarthy. I will light my Chiefs gear on fire.
Mike McCarthy is either the most Raiders hire ever, or Falcons hire.
Falcons,
right?
Cardinals.
Cardinals. That's even better.
Cardinals.
That's
Mike McCarthy, Cardinals, go disappear.
Yeah.
Go be 500.
Mike McCarthy and Tua in Arizona.
Oh man.
Book it.
Done. J.J. Watt coming out of retirement to go play for Mike McCarthy. Book it. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. That's it. There you go. You heard it here first.
Yeah. You hear a lot of things here first.
So the other thing that I kind of wanted to chat about was it had a little bit to pertain with college football. And there's been this huge discussion, depending on who you're talking to and what you're listening to, about the SEC. And how the SEC is still the dominant, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But the counter-argument to that is, currently, right now, with 2 teams left, and even, well, there was only one SEC team left last week before they got knocked out. SEC hasn't represented in the college football playoff final in 3 years.
Yep.
There was a lot of argument going for, well, if you want to be competitive, it's just different type. This is basically pro-level football, and everybody else, Big Ten and under, is not.
Yep.
Yada, 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 all this other stuff, right? Not so much the case. You've got Paul Feinbaum going, having his discussions about, oh man, I think I sent that to you. Did I read that last week? Something about Texas and yada, yada. Oh, Paul Feinbaum on who will win the national championship in August of 2025. Paul Feinbaum says, if it's not an SEC team, I'm leaving the country. Bye, Paul. See you later. Enjoy Canada. Bye.
Peace out.
Yeah, and I like the Gators. I'm not an SEC homer by any means, but I think a lot of this stuff is pure nonsense, especially when you've seen, who's won Heisman's, who is competing every year, who has won the college football playoff over the last 2 years when you've got 2 Big Ten teams.
Fun fact, without looking, in the last 7 years, I'm trying to remember if I saw this, a little illustration thing came up. Has the Big Ten represented one of the teams in the championship for 7 consecutive years?
That sounds about right.
Because it's not about champion, right? It's not about who's being crowned the national champion, but has the Big Ten had a team in the finals, like playing for the championship game for 7 years? I think I saw an illustration that said that. There you go.
There you go. So you had Clemson, Alabama, the ACC
in 19.
SEC. So and then LSU, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State. So there's Big
Ten.
Ten.
It's not right then.
So Georgia, Alabama, SEC, Georgia, TCU. What is TCU?
Big 12.
Big 12.
Yep.
And then the last, you've had Big Ten the last 2 years. Notre Dame, obviously not in a conference, and then Washington over there were they Pac-12?
No, Washington's Big Ten.
Are they recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came over with UCLA, USC.
That's why I'm thinking they're Pac-12.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
They're not though.
Gotcha.
They're Big Ten.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been 3 years since the SEC has even been in the game. The last time that they won one was Georgia's huge 65-7 win over TCU. But there's just been a lot of narrative recently, and I think, you can look at the trend since NIL became a thing a few years ago. It's not as prominent as it used to be, for sure. I like what Joe Klatt had to say. There was talk about the SEC gauntlet narrative needs to die, and this is what Joe Klatt had to say.
Of the SEC, it's the best conference in the world. Obvious. Look at what we do. Even though they're the conference that still just plays 8 conference games, even though they're the conference that has not even participated in a national championship game now for 3 straight years. And when you look at the metrics, the draft is changing, in particular in the first round. Look at the last few years. It is not as drastic as it used to be, and in fact, it's equating out. I mean, there was a strong push from some in our sport and some networks with deep relationships with the SEC about, well, maybe there should be 7 SEC teams in the college football playoff. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem because it is clearly not the case that the strength resides in that conference. It's just not. The data bears that out. I'm not even arguing for another conference right now. I'm just arguing against this narrative that the SEC is a gauntlet, that it has to be rewarded, and that it has to be given the benefit of the doubt. That narrative needs to die. It needs to die a quick death now because it hurts the sport. We barely got Miami into this playoff. I mean, barely got Miami into this playoff. Why? Because of narrative. Because that conference had to have at least minimum 5 because it's the gauntlet. Well, listen, no, it's not. I'm sorry. It's not. The play on the field has been very clearly shifting for a long time. The Big Ten is better at the top than the SEC. And that's not just me saying that. That's what the data tells us. What's clear is that the Big Ten has dominated when it's mattered. They're 4-0.
I think he has a lot of good things to say there.
Can't dispute it.
And I think you can find a way to go hand in hand. We've talked about it before, where the SEC is basically pushing to eliminate all qualifiers and just get whoever is the best 12 teams in for sure, right?
Yep.
And I think he's right. I think one of the things that he says first and foremost, I know why the SEC is doing that, because they can basically all but guarantee themselves at least 7 of the 12 spots for the most part based on narrative, which is what Joel is talking about there. And I do think he's right. I think there is a lot that's given to narrative that shouldn't be. I think you need to pull away from that and just look with your eyeballs and understand what teams look good and what teams don't. Understand that James Madison is not a team that needs to be in there just because of qualifying reasons, right? We don't need to put Alabama in because their narrative seems to be better with a long history of success versus what they've had recently. Figure out a way to fix this. Figure out a way to implement rules where you can, and stop favoring one conference over the other, because clearly in recent history, that's not the case when it comes to one being better than the other.
Can we just get real now? Let's just call this what it is. NIL has equaled the playing field because the SEC was already paying their players before the NIL.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we just call it what it is? Yeah. Cars, homes, mom and dad's home, fancy jewelry, whatever the case was. The SEC has been paying their players for years, and now that the NIL comes around, now other schools have all this money to give out. So now you're starting to see all these 4- and 5-star kids end up in these other universities that you typically wouldn't have seen, because financially the SEC had side things going. Do I know this? I don't need to know this. Everybody knows this. You know, this is how it worked.
Yeah.
You know, when an Alabama player 10 years ago went down and he was a 5-star kid, they had a 5-star kid back him up to back up another 5-star and another 5-star. And then we got 4 deep in the depth chart, and we're getting down into 4-star kids. Now you're seeing that across the board in a lot of these major universities because of NIL. I will sit here and I will still throw shit at you all day about NILs breaking college football. However, it's also now equaled the playing field in terms of the right kind of money is being given to the athletes, and they're starting to distribute it, and players are starting to distribute throughout all of these organizations.
Right. I mean, where you've got a guy like, and I'll just speak from this because it's the one that I pay most attention to as far as teams go, but like you've got a top recruit in his class in DJ Lagway that committed to Florida for a couple of years, and now he's leaving Florida to go to Baylor.
Yeah.
He left Gainesville, Florida.
Yep.
To go to Baylor.
Yep.
For
Not
reasons.
because the scenery was better.
Right. And it's like, why would you do that? But reasons, right? They could have offered him more money, maybe didn't like the coach, all sorts of other things. But you've got just a lot more movement among players, and you're hearing a lot more of it, right?
This is what I want for next week. Don't care, championship game, whatever. This is what I want for next week. I want you to come up with your 3 primary reasons that college student athletes, football related, only football, 3 primary reasons why student athletes enter the transfer portal. That's what I want. Don't talk about it now. Come up with your 3. Let's have some analysis, because I've got my 3. I was actually going to blow somebody up on Twitter with this, because he's talking about coaching moves and all this other stuff and no loyalty and all the same things that we've talked about. I'm going to come up with my 3. You come up with your 3. Let's have it next week. We're going to have it out. And let's get Big Brain Brad and Anthony. Let's get his 3. Brett, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about college football. We don't need his input. But let's get the 3.
All right.
And then we are going to go with what caliber of athlete do we want on our team, depending on the 3 primary reasons that they're entering the portal in the first place. I so bad want to go off on this with you right now. Because I'm going to light somebody up on Twitter just to make me feel better.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it alone now, because now I've got a homework
Keyboard
assignment.
warrior.
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah.
They are. And they're provoking me. And I feel as though I need to retaliate, but I will retaliate through this microphone with you, and I'm going to come up with 3 primary reasons.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you a little teaser, little sneak peek here. There's a certain brand of athlete. I don't care about the high school stars, and I'm going to leave that right there. I don't care about 4-star, 5-star high school kids, because you know this, Ryan. When they get into the portal, they get reassigned stars. You knew this, right? So they could be a 5-star kid in high school, but only be a 3.5-star kid or a 4-star kid once they enter the portal. You knew that change happened, right? No. If you didn't, you're going to know that when you do your research for your homework.
Very good.
Because I'm going to tell you, The high school star means nothing to me. When they enter the portal, I'm telling you what kind of kid I'm looking for.
Gotcha.
Just saved me a long rant on Twitter. Thank you for that. This is a great homework assignment.
Very good.
Great.
All right. Who you got on Monday the 19th in the championship?
Indiana, and I don't think it's close.
I saw a stat. I think it was yesterday. I should have taken a picture of it, but it had something to do with the Miami defensive line outweighs per person Indiana's offensive line by like 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like that's how much bigger these human beings are on Miami. But yeah, I think it'll be an incredibly interesting game. I'm hoping for a close game because I can't remember the last time we had one that was actually relatively competitive. And it looks like from 19 to 2025, we've had 44-16, 42-25, 52-24, 33-18, 65-7, 34-13, and 34-23. So it's been a while since we've had a competitive championship game. Do you think we get one, or do you think Indiana is just that much better?
I think Indiana is that much better. I think Miami is very fast, very athletic, but I just think that Indiana is consistent across the board. They're just going to keep grinding and winding down and winding down. Yeah. They're going to run Miami down.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be close. It's going to be 2 scores or more.
Crazy. Who had Miami?
You want to know what's crazy? Which team during the regular season, to include conference championships, which team was the absolute closest to knocking off Indiana?
Oh, here we go. Penn State.
It's not just because it's Penn State, but think about what was going on. Was their coach fired? Was their all-world quarterback sidelined?
Sure.
Coming in with a freshman quarterback,
sure.
An interim coach,
yeah.
A bunch of guys that were already wanting to enter the portal. It's like, holy crap. If you talk about how close that game, the margins in those games really are, you can have a down game, but when you have a down game and nearly lose to a very underachieving Penn State team, you're in trouble. What's that? It's an L. You were right.
I was trying to look at it any different way.
It's an L.
And no matter what way, sometimes it looks like a 7.
But a team that barely became bowl eligible gave Indiana the closest run for their money. That is the wonkiness that keeps me engaged in college football.
Gotcha.
That's the stuff.
Yeah.
And Miami? Can you imagine if Notre Dame pulls the upset? At that point, it wasn't an upset. But if Notre Dame beats Miami the second game of the year, first game of the year, whatever game it was, first or second game, can you imagine? Miami wouldn't be in these playoffs.
Yeah.
They
almost weren't anyway.
Correct. They would not be in here, and you'd have had a Notre Dame game that would have been first round and gone.
Yeah, it's incredible how this stuff kind of like breaks down when you really look at the molecular details of how we got to this point.
Yeah.
And it really is a game of inches. When you break it all down to its finite,
Yep.
pieces, it's a game of inches. And for Penn State, Indiana, that game was a game of inches.
Oh, and
for Miami getting into the playoffs, it was a game of inches for them even squeaking in there. So
to think about the absolutely absurd catch made in the back of the end zone by the Indiana kid in that Penn State game, where he was his toe in, like absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Well, and then you think about the ACC, right? So the winner of the ACC doesn't get in. The runner-up of the ACC doesn't get in, but some random third team in the ACC gets in and goes on a run and makes it to the championship.
Right.
It's like
we probably should have put Duke in there.
I'm just saying, like, it makes no sense, right? It's like, when has a third-place team ever made it to the championship game?
Yeah, right. Virginia Tech's going to be in the college football playoffs next year.
Yeah.
Boy, just check their fan base out. They're going to be there. Big Games James over there in Virginia Tech, Hokie Nation. Oh, they're I'm telling you.
Rent-free right now.
CFP.
Rent-free.
CFP. I'm going to light them up on Twitter. I'm still going back to Twitter.
Oh, man.
Is it time? We need to have an electric intro for the Quizard of Oz. We need an electric intro, Ryan. I need you to come up with this stuff. I need you to. I don't have the technology. I've got skills. I just don't have the technology.
Got the skills to pay the bills.
Yeah, we need something really cool for like someone just hammering for like 4 or 5 strums of a Metallica style electric guitar. Okay, Quizard of Oz.
Is all random again?
What? No.
Is there a theme?
Fun fact. Theme. football. 100% football. And narrowed down even more, NFL, Ryan.
Oh my gosh.
NFL.
All right.
10 questions.
How many? 10?
10.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
Quizard of Oz, Volume 3. Right?
4.
4. I knew that. Which quarterback started a Super Bowl for 2 different teams, but never won one of them?
Jeez.
Played for the Cowboys and the Broncos. There's a hint.
Played for the Cowboys and the Broncos.
Yes. Started 2 Super Bowls, 2 different teams, never won it. Played for the Cowboys and the Broncos, and I don't think you're going to get it. Fun fact, only got 6 of these. And this wasn't one of them.
You got 6.
I told you this. I have to answer it. Or at least make an attempt to get the answer.
Okay.
I set it up that way so it's fun for both of us.
Yeah. A Cowboys and a Broncos quarterback that made the Super Bowl with both teams but did not win it.
Correct.
Holy cow.
First name Craig. That greater hint? Not so much? I don't think so. Can I just give it to you?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Craig Morton. Craig Morton. I did not get this one. You are not correct. Exactly. Here we go. Number 2. Who was the first overall pick in the NFL draft that never played a single NFL snap?
Excuse me?
Who was the first overall pick in the NFL draft that never played a single NFL snap? Now, fun fact, this young man shares a name with somebody that would really dispute this answer. 1986 Buccaneers. Bo Jackson. And it can't be the same Bo Jackson that I know that ran over the frickin' Seattle Seahawks. It can't be.
I don't know.
Will you please look up Bo Jackson, Buccaneers, 1986? They say first NFL pick in the NFL draft that never played a single NFL snap. There it is. Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafted Bo Jackson first overall in the 1986 NFL draft. He refused to play for them due to a dispute with owner. Isn't it odd that he carries the same name?
Jackson chose to play baseball for the Royals instead, and the Buccaneers forfeited his rights. With the Raiders drafting him in 87 and allowing him to play for both football and baseball. So it is the same Bo Jackson.
But he ended up playing an NFL snap. That's why it didn't make sense to me.
He probably never playing an NFL snap for the team that drafted him.
They need to do a better job with this then.
So this explains why he got drafted twice. So the Buccaneers arranged a private jet for Jackson to visit Tampa for a physical, claiming it was the NCAA approved. The trip violated NCAA rules, causing Jackson to lose his final year of college eligibility. Jackson felt the Bucs intentionally tried to force him to choose football over baseball and vowed never to play for them, stating, "You draft me if you want. You're going to waste a pick. I promise you that."
See, they need to refine the question because that's lame. He ended up playing an NFL snap. The way they made it sound was this can't be the same Bo Jackson. So I'm sitting here answering this question. I'm like, it can't be him.
I didn't know this story.
No.
Refusal to sign. The Buccaneers drafted Jackson anyway with the first pick, but he held firm, choosing baseball with the Royals. The Raiders' opportunity a year later, the Raiders drafted Jackson in the 7th round and allowed him to play both baseball and football, leading to his legendary 2-sport career.
Isn't that amazing? Same Bo Jackson. I thought it was a different Bo Jackson. I'm like, well, Buccaneers, no.
Wow.
No, I didn't know that story.
Wow. There you go.
Oh, I'm sure we got listeners though. Yeah, I knew that. I mean, hell. Number 3, Ryan. Which team has the longest playoff drought in NFL history?
Currently?
No. Like, historically. Lifetime of the league. Which team has the longest NFL drought in NFL history? And it occurred 1967 through 2000.
Holy crap.
33 seasons. Playoff drought. 33 seasons. Bags on the head.
The Bengals?
Nope.
No.
Bags on the head.
Oh, the Saints.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yep, I got that one wrong too.
Yeah. Yeah, the Aints.
Exactly.
Yeah. And their one shining moment of Arch Manning there for a little bit.
I bitch about 20 years of the Chiefs. They had 33 seasons of no playoffs. Incredible. Who was the last non-quarterback to win NFL MVP? In 2012.
Peterson.
Good work.
Adrian Peterson.
Do it. Hit the right button. There's one.
That is correct.
Sadly, I got that one wrong. Okay, which Super Bowl featured the first overtime period in Super Bowl history?
Oh, it was the...
Just give me the teams.
Oh, it was the Patriots and the Falcons.
Okay, good work. Which player recorded the most receiving yards in a single Super Bowl? I don't need the yards, just the player. The yards was 215. Most receiving yards in a single Super Bowl.
Jerry Rice.
Bingo. Great job. What team was penalized the most times in a single Super Bowl? 14 total penalties.
What year?
Doesn't say. Well, guess it this way. Super Bowl II.
Okay, so Super Bowl II, which was between the Packers and the... Oh, man. It was Packers Chiefs, and then it was Packers who? I imagine...
Same division.
What's that?
Same division as the Chiefs.
The Raiders?
Bingo.
Really?
Bingo.
Man, I was having a hard time coming up with who they played in Super Bowl II.
14 total penalties in the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, you got 14 penalties, you're not winning that game.
Nope. Which head coach has the most playoff losses in NFL history?
Is it Mike Tomlin?
Nope.
Is it now?
Nope.
That was a joke. I wasn't...
It didn't say consecutive.
Playoff losses. I don't know. I would. Is it? Why can't I remember his first name? Lewis from the Bengals.
He's still actively coaching.
Shut the front door.
Shut your front door.
Is it Andy Reid?
It is.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Most playoff losses. Okay, who is the only quarterback to throw 5 interceptions in a Super Bowl and still win? Super Bowl X1V.
1V. So it's 14, I think. Bradshaw.
Bingo. Great job. Great job. Holy shit. I didn't get that one right. Which NFL team has the most Hall of Fame players but 0 Super Bowl wins? This one just fits.
The Vikings.
No.
Then I don't know.
Most Hall of Fame players, 0 Super Bowl wins.
Browns?
Bingo. Bingo. What'd you get?
2, 4. I'm not going to give myself that last one, so I got 5.
You got the last one.
No, I said the Vikings, and then I said the Browns.
Yeah, you said Browns with a question mark, but you still said Browns. I didn't give you any hints. It counts.
All right,
write it down.
Whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Those are really, that's obscure in a lot of ways. But.
See, listen, I've taken the complaints about it's too broad, that's too much whatever, it's whatever. Okay, fine.
You still had the Bo Jackson one in there.
Then we're going to hone in. We're going to hone in on something that we talk about day in, day out. There it is.
Yeah. I came across something yesterday that you'll kind of find funny. So they posted something that said the most combined points scored by a father-son duo in NBA all time. Who do you think is number 1 on that list?
Oh, hold on. My mind was somewhere completely else. Please ask that again.
In the NBA, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 father-sons that have played in the NBA. Now, maybe not at the same time, but their father played and then they played later.
Yeah.
Combined number of points. Who has the most points total combined in the history of the NBA? Father-son duo.
Holy crap. I don't follow the NBA.
Is it Michael Thompson and Klay Thompson, Is it LeBron James and Bronny James? Is it Del Curry and Steph Curry? Or is it Joe Bryant and Kobe Bryant?
Curry.
Curry is number 2 with... So Del Curry and Steph Curry have a combined total 38,896 points at number 2.
Okay, that's going to be the first one.
Which was?
Whoever you said.
Michael,
No.
Michael and Klay Thompson?
Yeah, yes.
Michael and Klay Thompson are 4th with 29,750.
Is this a piss Kelly off LeBron James question? His kid doesn't score anything.
Bronny has 91 total points in his career.
Well, that's going to be LeBron James at number 1. LeBron James.
LeBron James and Bronny James have combined for a total of 42,692 points. With LeBron scoring 42,601 of those points and Bronny scoring the other 91.
How many kids in the NBA belong to Michael Jordan and just don't know that he's their father? It could be that.
Could be. But yeah, so Del Curry and Steph Curry.
I meant nothing by that, by the way.
38,896. Joe Bryant and Kobe Bryant. Didn't really know that Joe Bryant played in the NBA. 38,895 total points. Then you have Klay Thompson and his dad at 29,750 points.
Interesting.
Yeah. Pretty funny, actually. It's a lot of points. You can rack up a lot of points when you play 23 seasons.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Compiler, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. So. All right. Very good. Who?
Jordan's still the GOAT. Sorry. We'll just leave that there.
That is correct.
We got what? What's that mean?
Nothing.
Where are we going now?
We got nowhere to be. I think that's the show.
Weeds. Ass. Itchy. We can't get off in the weeds.
Can't?
No. We just need to close this thing up.
Can't or shouldn't?
You got to end shit with LeBron James, man.
I don't have to. I just thought it was an interesting thing because his son only had 91 points and he was, yeah. It's like one of those trick questions, you know.
Provoking me.
Did you see that there was an interview with not LeBron, but so Jordan does these interviews with Mike Tirico because the NBC has the NBA now.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't paid a ton of attention to the NBA, but he'll do these sit down sessions with Mike Tirico and they'll talk about history and past and all this other stuff and his thoughts on the current game or what's going on. And he sat down and talked about this house that he was at. Somebody was renting it or he was renting it from somebody at the time. But this happened recently and the guy's kids wanted to see Michael shoot a free throw. And Michael is like not anybody to be super vulnerable about what he talks about, right? He's usually always putting himself on a pedestal of like, hey, I'm the best that's ever done it. No doubt about it, blah, blah, blah. But he's having this conversation. I highly suggest you look it up. But he's having this conversation with Mike Tirico about that was probably the most nerve-wracking free throw I've ever taken in my life. And reason being is like his kids, who probably aren't any older than 9, not Michael's kids, but this other guy's kids, are like, hey, shoot a free throw. We want to see you shoot one. And so it's him, these 2 kids, the dad, and somebody who's filming it. And that's it. It's the only people that are out there. And Michael's going through it, and he's like, they have this perception of who I am in their head.
Yeah.
Of what I am and who I'm supposed to be.
Can't miss, right?
I haven't shot a basketball in, I do it periodically, but it's not something that I continue to practice over and over again. So he's like, he gets up to the line, and you can hear him. He says something to the effect of like, good Lord, or Lord help me, or something like that, right? And he looks old, because he is old.
Yeah.
He's in his 60s, I think. And he gets up there.
And probably drunk.
Probably. Takes a couple dribbles, pulls up, shoots. Nothing but net. Cash money. Still got it. But I thought it was
Legacy resumes.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that like he was having all these thoughts and all these like these nerve-wracking thoughts. Like, if I miss this, what are these kids going to think of me? Does it ruin the illusion? Is it,
That, my friend, is EGO. That is ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely got one for a reason. But
yeah.
It's just like, yeah, it's interesting to hear him specifically talk about it, because if you ever watched the documentary that they did a few years ago about the Bulls and everything that he talks about and how he talks about himself and his game and all this other stuff, and so kind of interesting. You obviously get a little softer as you get older, so it's fun to be able to hear him talk about it, not only in that sense of the word, but also in the fact of like everything that he said or he described actually happened. He didn't make any of it up. It wasn't anything that he lied about or made greater than it was. It went exactly as he said it did. So It's like, oh, there's some credibility there too.
Nuts.
So there, I'll end it with Michael Jordan, not LeBron James.
That's amazing. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in as always. If you want to be a part of the show, you can always hit us up on the socials at either Twitter or Instagram. You can email us at thearmchairauthority@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment on your podcast service of choice. If you want to support the show, you can go to tpublic.com. You can find a shirt there. The link will be in the description of the podcast as well. Next week, we'll be coming back with more NFL playoff action, as well as a college football champion will be crowned by the time that we record next. So hard to believe that we're already halfway through January. Blows my flipping mind that we're already cruising towards that. Pretty soon we'll be outside. We'll be fishing. We'll be playing outdoor sports,
hunting,
all sorts of things.
Fishing,
loving every day.
Loving every day.
So, looking forward to all of that stuff. We've been kind of spoiled here in the Dakotas. Just the simple fact that it's January, and I think it's been 60 the last 2 days. So there's been a big itch to go out and do stuff. But there's also been kind of this, everybody's been holding their breath waiting for winter to finally hit. So I guarantee you we're going to get one of those springs where it's like, we're going to get hit with that big heavy snow that just snaps trees in half. And,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be great. So, but we appreciate you guys as always. If you think we deserve it, leave a 5-star review on your podcast service of choice, and we will look forward to joining you guys next week.
They know the game, but they're keeping it fun, poking fun at the stats, they're second to none. From fantasy leagues to the locker room jokes, they got the edge no one's ever broke. They don't need a suit, they don't need a tie, just some headphones and a crazy eye. The authority of laughs and the games they know. Tune in every week, it's time.